another part of mindset that I think needs to be mentioned is like a belief in what it is that you said that you're gonna go do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you have to believe that you can accomplish the things that you're gonna set out to accomplish, whatever the goal is, right? Like,
Right.
You know, if you're gonna go out for a certain degree, like you have to believe that you can do that. You know, now you can use the growth mindset to help get you there,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, there has to be belief, because belief is what's gonna make you come in and build the routine and build the habit of getting better, right? And another part of that is that you also have to have faith, right? And the big difference for me is belief carries you on the day to day, right? It's like I'm gonna do so much studying, I'm gonna exercise so many minutes, I'm gonna do it's that routine.
Yeah.
Where faith comes in about having faith that you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are when you get down to the dark times.
Oh.
The times in your brain where you're like, when you because a growth mindset isn't permanent.
Right.
You're gonna fluctuate, right? There's gonna be times where that negativity is just gonna creep up. You're gonna be tired, right? Physically tired, right? From either too much studying, too much drawing, too much studying. Like you're gonna put your body through so much shit. You're gonna get weak. Your will is gonna get weak, and you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah,
and that's where that faith comes in, that you have to have faith. Faith is what carries you through the dark times. Belief is what carries you through the day to day.
Yeah, when you really get into like those dark times and things might not be going like the way that you want them to go, you got to go back to the dungeon. You have to go back to like what it is that like initially drove you to want to be whatever you want to be. You know, having like the mindset that you can like get there, just not there yet, is great. But like the belief that you can get there, the belief that you see the goal, like you see like the goal on the end of the horizon or at the top of the mountain or however they say it. You know, like believing in that and having faith in yourself, because you're the person who's like the driving force to get you there. Mm-hmm. And if you don't believe in yourself in the day to day, you're not gonna have faith in yourself to like complete everything in the long run.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of like develop like a sort of mental toughness. Like you have to be prepared for no matter what it is, no matter how big or how small, that there's a possibility that you could fail, and failing's fine, but you just got to pick back up and try again. You got to have like that mindset where you're like, I'm going to fucking do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, your habits have a lot to do with it. You know, like, your habits have a lot to do with your self-esteem. You know, when you have to start out with doing things that you can accomplish. Because the reason why a lot of us fail at the things that we try to do is because we just don't believe ourselves. You know, how many times have we said, hey, you know what, I'm gonna lose this extra weight, I'm gonna have a six-pack this summer, you know, I'm gonna run 10 miles, you know, I'm gonna actually take this semester serious. I'm actually gonna be a manager. You know, I'm actually gonna move up in the company. I'm gonna get my diploma. Like whatever it is that we say we're gonna do, right? And then, you know, another year comes by, and then you remember, damn, I wanted to do this, and I'm in the exact same position 1 year later than I was the year before.
That's happened to me quite a bit.
Yeah, and
January 1st, I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna get all A's. I'm gonna work out 6 days a week. I'm gonna eat better. I'm gonna lose extra weight. And then kind of like how you said earlier, like one little thing can like go wrong in your schedule. And that one little thing can turn into two things, can turn into three things. You can throw your entire day off. And that one bad day is one bad day. You can just, when a lot of people can just get back up on the next day and like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do better than yesterday.
Yeah.
But if they're like, I don't know what to do, like I don't see like how I can fix this. That's how you're talking about. Like a year ago, I said I was going to do this and I was pumped up. And then one day changed everything. And now here I am a year later thinking the same thought that I had the same last year. Like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But I don't know how to now.
Yeah. There was another study that I that I saw, and I forgot to write the lady's name down, but basically, what there was a certain procedure, right? And it had a 70% success rate, right? And so they got patients that were going to go through the procedure, and half of them, the doctor told them, hey, there's a 70% success rate. And the other half, they told them there's a 30% fail rate, right? And so the patients that were told the 70% felt better about doing the procedure than those that did the 30, right? But there was, later on, they mentioned to the ones that were positive, and they were like, hey, like, this 30%, like, they reframed it as the 30%, right? Failure rate. Those that were that were once positive ended up turning into a negative, right? And those that were negative, well, actually, only half of them turned negative, right? Some still felt kind of good about the procedure, but when the ones that were told the negative, the 30% failure, right? When they were told about the positive, none of them changed their mind. The reason I say that is because your mind works in such a way that the negativity sticks more. So when you say, I'm going to do something, and then you don't do it, you're failing yourself, and you start to lose belief in the words that you think and the words that you say. And when you start doing that, like, that's why it's so hard when you sit there again and say, oh, I'm going to lose weight, this year. And it's not as effective as the time that you said it the year before. And that year was less effective than the year before. You stop believing in yourself. So what you have to start doing is you're going to say, I'm going to do this, right? And I'm not there yet, but I'm going to get there. And I'm going to start with step one. And you make step one, whatever it is, something that's fairly easy for you to do. And then you do it. Yeah, you create that habit.
You create that habit. You build those little victories.
Yeah.
Same concept when it comes to actually wanting to go to the gym. Step 1, put on your shoes. Step 2, get your keys. Step 3, get in the car. Step 4, you're there, and you're ready to do work.
Yeah.
Those little victories, no matter how small, like, they're gonna help you get through what comes next. And a lot of people, because we're talking about, like, it comes to work. A lot of people don't want to work for whatever they're going to get, or they don't want to work for the possibility of failure. And I think that scares a lot of people. It scares me sometimes.
Yeah.
Like how we're talking about, like, it becomes less and less effective the more you say and the more you don't do.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's accountable for themselves.
Right.
So you have to help build the belief in yourself when you've brought yourself down so much, right? And you do that, again, by the hard stuff. You start hardening your mind. You start doing that stuff. And then, again, you also have to have faith. And, like, you build the faith by knowing if it has been done, you can do it.
How many times have you, like, torn yourself down to, like, the bare bones to be like, okay, I'm not happy with any number of things that have gone on in my life, but now I'm at the point where I'm going to say, fuck all that. I'm going to tear myself down completely. I'm going to be completely honest with what I see, what I feel, and what I think. And then you start that process of building yourself back up.
Well, I would say that I did that. I do that periodically. When I did it, like, maybe 2-3 years ago, when the last episode we're talking about the accountability mirror, like, that I only had to do one time. Once I really broke myself down and I was honest with myself, what that allowed me to do is, as I continue on this journey, because I broke myself down and I saw what was wrong with myself, I then recognize it when I go back to those other habits. Okay. So that's when I have to check myself. That's when I have to tell myself, hey, like, you better keep your shit together, bro. Like, we've been here before, so don't fall into those same habits that you had before.
Yeah.
And so really with me, and with anything, like with everybody, you got to understand that this is going to be, like, this is a lifelong journey.
Yeah. There's
right?
no finish line.
Yeah. There's no finish line. And that's why you like crash diets, they never work, right? Like doing things like changing your whole world from one moment to the other never works because you don't build those long-term habits.
You can't go from one extreme and step into another.
You can't.
If you're not ready for it. You have to, like how you're saying, you have to build those habits. And even if it is slow, like that little victory, that little habit that you just developed, that's going to help you down the road. That shit's just going to keep building up. Yeah. You're going to keep being successful if you continue on that path. But if you try to jump from like one extreme to another, you're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel any manner of like disappointment when you don't reach your goal. And then you're going to sit there and you're going to have to think about it like, well, fuck, like now I got to go back. Now I got to go back to the dungeon. Now I got to think about myself. Now I got to break myself down for a third time, a fourth time. How am I going to get there?
Yeah, if you look in the mirror and you see a whiny little bitch, you're going to be a little bitch for your whole fucking life, right?
Right.
Like that, like just like accept it, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what I sit there and I think about when I think about myself, right? It's like that's what I told myself. It's like, Peter, you're a little bitch. And you're fucking lazy. You know,
cut that out and give me that as a soundbite. I want that to be my text tone.
But that's what I tell myself. So when I start like bitching, when I start being like, oh, but this, but that, you know, like I'm like, hey, you're being a little bitch. You know, like fucking you. It has to get done. The work doesn't go away. You can whine about it, you can reason it, and you can ignore it, but the work remains undone.
Whether it be working out or working, like I get in those points where I'm like I feel like I want to stop, and I tell myself, it's like, okay, don't stop because you want to, like stop when you're done. This is the grind, right? Like if you're running, run further. If you're lifting, get those last few sets in. And if it's work, it's like answer that last email. I know it's 4:55 in the afternoon on a Friday, but do you really want that to carry over to Monday? Like, do it now, do it right, and then when it comes, like, the next week, when it comes the next run, when it comes the next, like, workout, like, you put in that effort, and you earned that last rep, that last mile. You earned the respect of, like, the last person that you spoke to, like, at work at 4:55 on a Friday. Like, that's going to change your mind. That's going to change your attitude. Like, you're not going to sit there and be like, like I didn't want to do it, so I didn't do it. You know, you're not going to think about that later. That's not going to be the thing that haunts you. Because what if that thing that happened on Friday, like at work, turns into an even bigger deal over the weekend, and then you step into something that could have been avoided altogether on Monday? That's going to send you spiraling. I've been there.
The Amp Theory Podcast with Peter Vazquez and Scott Kalnasy.